One engine surprised everyone in the shop. One confirmed exactly what the Bronco community has been saying for years, and one showed us something that no spec sheet prepares you for: the difference between the best engine in the test and the best ownership experience. I'm RJ. 20 years working on Fords. We pulled 3 Bronco engines off the bench and let the teardown speak. One thing before we get started, we were able to source both the 2.3 EcoBoost and the 2.7 EcoBoost with right around 100,000 miles. The 3.0 was a different story. Bronco Raptors simply haven't been on the road long enough in large numbers to find one with a full 100,000. The closest complete engine we could source had just over 70,000 miles, so while it's not a perfect apples-to-apples comparison, it's close enough to show us how these engines are aging in the real world. We'll note it again when we get there. Let's get into it. The 2.3 EcoBoost is the engine that powers most Broncos on the road today. 300 horsepower, single turbo, direct injection, the base engine that gets written off in spec comparisons and quietly does the work for hundreds of thousands of owners every day. At 100,000 miles of real Bronco use, trails, city commutes, towing, weekend runs, the teardown showed us exactly what accumulates when a turbocharged direct injection engine works this hard in this environment: the intake valves. Direct injection means fuel sprays directly into the combustion chamber on every cycle. It never touches the intake valves. Oil vapor from the PCV system coats those valves with every heat cycle, and without fuel washing them clean, the deposits bake on and build up over time. At 100,000 miles, the carbon accumulation on the 2.3 was significant. Broncos that spend time crawling off-road at low RPM, idling in traffic with heat-soaked turbos, or doing repeated short trips compound this faster than a highway commuter would. I've scoped 2.3 Broncos at 70,000 miles that already needed attention. The off-road duty cycle accelerates the timeline. For significant buildup, walnut blasting is the most effective fix. Typically $400 to $800 depending on the shop and the region. Many high-mileage 2.3 owners eventually reach this service. The exact timing depends on driving habits, oil maintenance intervals, and PCV condition. The PCV system. On a turbocharged direct injection engine that sees real off-road use, the PCV valve is a small part with an outsized role. When it sticks or clogs, crankcase pressure builds and oil vapor gets pushed into the intake at a higher volume, directly accelerating the carbon buildup on the valve faces. At 100,000 miles, the PCV valve on this engine showed the wear pattern consistent with sustained high-load operation. Sticky, sluggish, not the rattle a healthy valve produces. Owners who run catch cans in their 2.3 Broncos consistently show less carbon accumulation when the valves get scoped. It's not required, but for a Bronco that sees serious use, it's cheap insurance against an expensive service interval. The turbocharger. A single turbo working hard across 100,000 miles of Bronco driving, and Bronco drivers use that turbo. It showed bearing wear consistent with sustained thermal cycling. The heat soak pattern was clear. Broncos that shut off immediately after trail runs, after extended boost on highway passes, without 2 or 3 minutes of idle cooldown, accumulate bearing degradation faster than the engineering assumed. The turbo wasn't at failure, but it was the loudest voice on the bench telling us this engine had been working. The cam phasers showed the early wear patterns we typically monitor on higher mileage EcoBoost engines, worth noting at the next service interval. The 2.3 at 100,000 miles is not a failed engine. It's an engine that carries real maintenance cost beneath its reliable exterior. I had a 2022 Bronco come in last year. Owner had been meticulous about oil changes. Full records, nothing deferred, 94,000 miles. He said the engine felt flat under hard acceleration, like the turbo was taking longer to spool. No codes. When I scoped the intake valves, the deposits were significant enough that airflow was visibly restricted on several ports. Walnut blast, throttle body clean, PCV replacement. 3 services. He called 2 days later and said it felt like a different truck. It was the same truck, it was just finally breathing again. The carbon service, the PCV attention, the turbo condition. These arrive together and hand the owner a bill that surprises people who assumed the base engine was the low-maintenance choice. The 2.3 isn't the wrong engine for a Bronco, it's the engine that rewards careful owners and charges careless ones. The 2.7 EcoBoost is the engine most Bronco buyers upgrade to when they can. More torque, more headroom for towing and off-road load. The engine that the community consistently recommends when someone asks what they should have gotten. At 100,000 miles, the teardown showed us why that reputation holds. The block. The 2.7's block is built for strength and heat tolerance, which helps it hold up well under Bronco duty cycles. At 100,000 miles, the 2.7 showed less bore wear concern than the 2.3. The structural foundation of this engine was holding up better than the smaller unit at the same mileage. The intake valves. The 2.7 also uses direct injection, which means the same carbon buildup pathway as the 2.3. What we found on the bench was meaningfully less accumulation in our teardown sample. Visible, but less advanced. In practice, many owners see a slower buildup rate on the 2.7, likely because the engine isn't working as hard per mile to produce similar output. The carbon deposits were present. This is a direct injection engine, they always will be. But the service interval before a walnut blast becomes necessary was clearly longer than what we saw on the 2.3. The turbochargers. The 2.7 runs a twin turbo setup. Two units working together to build torque without either one running at extreme boost levels. At 100,000 miles, both units showed less wear than we'd expect from an engine producing this level of performance. The 2.7 reaches its power targets without demanding everything from the turbo system on every pull. That moderation shows on the bench. The cam phasers and timing system showed less wear than the 2.3. Cleaner oil pathways, lower thermal load on the oil itself, better pressure reaching the phaser actuators across the service life. Here's what surprised the bench most about the 2.7. This is an engine that the Bronco community already trusts, and the teardown confirmed why. The strong block foundation holding up under real-world use. The turbos showing less wear at the same mileage. The carbon accumulation in our sample meaningfully lower than the base engine despite identical injection architecture. The 2.7 costs more to buy. It costs more per repair when repairs are needed, but at 100,000 miles it was in meaningfully better condition than the 2.3. And that gap represents deferred maintenance cost that the 2.3 owner will eventually pay. The engine everyone recommends showed up and earned that recommendation on the teardown bench. If you want the maintenance intervals and inspection checkpoints that keep EcoBoost Broncos running clean past 100,000 miles, the Ford Longevity Blueprint is linked below. The 3.0 EcoBoost is exclusive to the Bronco Raptor. 418 horsepower, twin turbocharged, built for performance that the standard Bronco lineup doesn't approach. And as we noted at the start, we couldn't source a 3.0 with a full 100,000 miles on it. The engine on our bench had just over 70,000. We're noting it again so the comparison is clear. At 70,000 miles, the 3.0 looked like what it is, a high-performance engine in the early portion of its service life. The teardown wasn't about catching failures, it was about reading the trajectory, understanding how an engine that works this hard is aging, and what that trajectory means for the owner who plans to keep it. The internals at 70,000 miles were impressive. Cylinder condition strong, ring seals tight. The engineering that goes into a 418 horsepower engine built to handle sustained off-road performance showed in every component we examined. This is a well-built engine that Ford took seriously. The turbochargers, two of them. At 70,000 miles, both units showed bearing condition consistent with sustained high-output operation. Better than the 2.3 at 100,000, as you'd expect from a newer engine with fewer miles, but the thermal signature was unmistakable. This engine runs hot. Two turbos working in concert to deliver 418 horsepower through a Bronco Raptor that owners push hard means the cooling and lubrication systems are under constant pressure. The higher output Raptor setup can be harder on oil quality than the lower output Bronco engines, especially with aggressive use. The intake valves, the same direct injection carbon pathway as the other two engines, and at 70,000 miles the buildup was already more advanced than we expected at this mileage. Whether that's representative of the engine in general or a reflection of how hard this particular Raptor was driven, we can't say from one example, but the trajectory on this unit was worth noting. Here's the honest summary of the 3.0 at 70,000 miles. The engine itself is exceptional. The engineering is genuine, the performance is everything the spec sheet says it is, but it comes with an ownership cost structure that the 2.7 doesn't. Turbo service when the day comes, 2 units instead of 1, carbon service needed sooner, oil quality degrading faster per mile, parts cost higher across the board for a performance spec engine that uses higher grade components throughout. When things need attention on a 3.0, they cost more than the same attention on a 2.7. The Bronco Raptor owner who knew exactly what they were buying, a performance machine that demands performance level maintenance, made a reasonable trade. The owner who expected Halo engine performance with standard engine ownership costs may have been surprised by what the service intervals look like at 70,000 miles. Best engine in the test, not the most forgiving ownership experience. Those two things can both be true. 3 engines, 3 different answers to the question of what a Bronco powertrain should be. The 2.3 EcoBoost at 100,000 miles showed the most maintenance-sensitive wear picture of the 3. Carbon buildup, PCV wear, turbo bearing condition, cam phaser accumulation, arriving together at the same mileage in a way that surprises owners who assumed the base engine was the low-maintenance choice. The 2.3 is capable, it's just not forgiving. The 3.0 EcoBoost at 70,000 miles showed exceptional engineering underneath outstanding performance numbers. The carbon accumulation rate, the dual turbo thermal load, the oil degradation pattern, all of it pointing toward a maintenance cost structure that matches the performance level. The best engine in this test, not the easiest one to own. The 2.7 EcoBoost at 100,000 miles earned its reputation on the teardown bench. The strong block foundation holding up under real-world Bronco duty cycles. The turbos in noticeably better condition than the 2.3 at the same mileage. The carbon accumulation in our sample lowered despite identical injection architecture. The cam phasers and timing system showing less fatigue. If you want maximum performance and you're prepared to maintain a performance machine, the 3.0 is the right engine. It doesn't disappoint on the bench or on the trail. If you want the best balance of capability and long-term ownership cost, the 2.7 wins this test. At 100,000 miles, it's in better condition than the base engine, and it costs less to operate than the Raptor motor. The Bronco community recommended it before the teardown. The teardown confirmed why. The 2.3 will get you there, it just asks more of you to keep it there. Ford Longevity Blueprint is in the description. If this helped you, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.